doing 900 nights, like that's incredible. How do you keep yourself from falling into that familiarity? Like how do you stay fresh and sharp and into that place where you're like, this is like, God, your presence is enough within this.
Right.
I don't need something newer than this, you know?
Right. Well, I think number one, it's a motive of the heart. And, I tell people all the time, we're not ministering to people, we're ministering to Him. And
That's
it's
good.
about the presence of God. And we've been entrusted with a stewardship, of His presence. And that's the way that the Lord explained it to me when revival broke out. Is He said to me, Jerame, I'm omnipresent, I'm everywhere all the time, but I'm not always manifest present. And He told me, He said, I'm giving you a stewardship of the manifest presence of God to really provoke a hunger and a jealousy into your generation that they would begin to desire more. And so for me, it's all about the Holy Spirit. It's all about the presence of God. And really, I don't care whether you're hosting meetings or you're not hosting meetings. It's all about personal revival, and for us, it's just being disciplined, spending time with God, not because I need to get something to give away to people, but because I love Him. And, that's the biggest thing that I think we've really stepped into a greater dimension of, is intimacy with the Lord. And, the thing about it is, after the first 30 nights, man, I was out of messages. It's like everything I'd ever preached was gone. And, it was like, oh man, what am I going to do now? And I remember the day that the Holy Spirit said to me, He's like, well, you either burn out or you'll turn out. And He said, or you'll learn to lean on me.
Wow.
And so revival for me has been like a journey of dependence on God. I mean, when you cling to Him and you depend on Him, every night when you go to preach and you don't have a message, I mean, I literally have preached, I don't know, 400 or 500 of those nights, those 900 nights. And my wife, she's preached a ton of them too. Plus we got guests, but a lot of times we don't know what we're doing. We just go and we stand before people and host the presence of the Lord as best as we can, and stay filled with the Word, stay in prayer, praying in the Spirit. I mean, I think these are all key components, and it's really simple. The gospel, is to know Him and to make Him known. And I think that's where people complicate it. It's like, you don't have to do some big preparation to minister to people. If you just stay filled with Him and you stay connected to Him, then His glory, His presence, His power, the leading of the Spirit comes on you. And I say this to people all the time, is that, if Jesus could cast 2,000 devils out of the man that had all the demons in the tomb, the Gadarene demoniac, and those demons went into pigs and ran down the hill, that shows us a spiritual capacity. How much more can you carry in God? If one man could carry 2,000 demons, how much presence and how much power can one son of God carry? One daughter, right? And
that's good.
And so for me, it's the journey of intimacy is a lifestyle, and the overflow of that is the revival. The actual preaching of the revival. The rest of it is, it's sovereign, man. I mean, like the presence of God that we experience at Fire and Glory. It just comes, like He comes, and I believe He's meeting a group of people. It's not just about Miranda and I, because we've got like 60 to 80 people every week, that come every night.
Wow.
And they're there, and a good core of them are sold out. They're like, I will give my life to the presence of God. And I'm sure some of you listening to me right now, you're like, dude, that's intense. But it's a grace, it's a calling for us, but also I think there has to be those that are willing to press into something uncomfortable and even not normal. And it hasn't been easy. I mean, like there's been crazy warfare. We've had burnout, on our teams where people just, they can't handle the intensity, and stuff happens. It's an interesting road, but it's so worth it.